Hello, viewers. Kubiondo, Kith and Kin. I'm SB, and welcome back to I Was a Teenage Exocolonist, where I am a teenage exocolonist. Welcome back to I Am a Teenage Exocolonist. This year could have been real bad. It seemed like there was some really grim stuff on the table for, what was this, year 13, year 14? Year 14. But we did it. We made it. Nobody starved to death. Everything's cool. And we should be like the heroine of the colony. It seems like people don't really. Yeah, listen, it's fine. I don't need all that credit. It's fine. It's fine. What I do need is rest. So let's take a break here in the park. Let's see if we can't advance our bonds with our pets a little bit further. There are only a few glowing plants in the garden, so in the dark of glow, you have to do a lot of outdoor work by lamplight. In the eerie nautolite, fertile earth dirt looks the same as Vertumnan dirt. It's so hard to see what you're doing. Okay, do we want to forget a 0 that is multicolor with a gem? I think so. I like the multicolor obviously a lot, but I think it's worth forgetting a 0. Okay, no advancing the pets. We got other stuff to do. The roar wakes you. It would wake the dead. It shakes the walls, rumbles through the ship's hull, and makes your heart skip a beat. You're paralyzed by a sudden clench of fear in your gut. Through your porthole window, you hear metal screeching and people shouting. Then another roar, guttural, something like and rumbling like the sound of a mountain collapsing. Something enormous is out there, and I mean, you know what we do in this situation. You don't know what gives you the courage, but you run out to the fields to face the horrible creature Yeah, that's good. Anemone's got a rake. She's got the right idea. Now, see, it has no face I don't feel like that's correct, because that's an eye, and that's an eye. I think this part is the face. There's a mouth on it. In place of a face, or even a head, its body just unzips, revealing a mess of writhing pink tentacles and blinking eyes, pocked with jagged, asymmetrical teeth. It stands on 4 enormously powerful legs, each as wide across as tree trunks. Clinging to its back and its thick slug-like tail are clumps of lichen that grow faintly in the night. The creature is nearly twice the height of a greenhouse. It's standing on top of a flattened one, the wreckage of lattice and plants all around. Flickers of light from plas rifles and stun gloves light it from underneath, and the stench of ozone is thick in the air. You see Nem and her brother Calm darting in and around its legs with their twin shocks of red hair. The faceless creature lurches into another greenhouse, oblivious to the soldiers trying to herd it away. The monster left a trail of destruction from where it smashed right through the walls. Smaller creatures are pouring in through the gap and heading toward... They're headed straight to command. You watch helplessly as the hordes of animals storm command, sneaking through torn away panels and smashing through windows. It's too far away to hear the screams, but Governor Udicott is inside. You have to do something. Okay, this is tough, actually. I wish I had a better sense of where everybody was. I'm going to trust that Nem and Calm have their situation somewhat under control. It doesn't seem like they do, but they're doing something. And, I think in a situation like this, all we can do is rely on each other, right? We don't know if anybody is actually rescuing Governor Udicott. We don't know what's going on inside command. I think we got to do that. The smaller creatures are making a beeline for command, slipping into the heart of the colony while the defense squad is distracted. The line of slinking, many-legged beasts pass by much easier targets, moving with eerie, almost tactical purpose. They're definitely being commanded, right? Like, these things are operating according to a battle plan, and I really wish we could have met whoever was out there, whoever the faceless person. There's something going on. We still may, of course, but I don't know. This is a grim situation. The scene in command is chaos. The blast doors that would have protected the bridge from depressurization in space are held open by a mound of corpses, both human and animal, and inside you hear Governor Udicott screaming for someone to help her. I'll do what I can. 68 and 3 is not that bad. We can make this happen. So what we could do here is 2, 3, 4 across the colors like that. Get the straight and the flush. I think that's a pretty good start. First collectible use is free, remember. Easy enough to go 2, 3, 4. I mean, like, that's not bad, right? It's pretty straightforward. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take that. We'll save the collectible use for the final thing here. Keep in mind, standing up for something is unchangeable, so we can put it next to telling a violent tale if it makes sense to do so. +2 to cards with gems. So, there's got to be a way to do this, right? 4s and 6s, like, if we run... I want to make sure I'm putting the right cards next to each other. Well, I guess actually we want the blues in the middle. Sorry. Yeah, 4s and 6s puts us on it. That's pretty straightforward. And I mean, first collectible use is free. May as well take the extra 2. But, you know, whatever. It's good. There was one more point. We could have earned one more point somewhere. You beat back enough beasts to help Udicott escape the bridge. As you shelter under a meeting room table, you hear horrible noises from the rest of the ship. Metal screeching, that terrible abomination roaring, the sounds of the creatures outside tearing their way through the hallways and trashing everything. Suddenly, the ship lurches and drops a few feet, buckling under the weight of something massive. Out the porthole window, you see a fleshy pink tentacle slap against the side of the ship before the faceless abomination outside crashes to the ground, taking the entire outer wall of the ship with it. Udicott sobs quietly into her hands in the sudden silence. So it seems like they did figure it out. You wait a long time until congruence gives you the all clear, and it also seems like no one else would have saved Udicott, so I think we did the right thing here. I think nobody else was in position to notice the danger the command was in. The council calls an all-colony meeting to face the aftermath of the attack. In the oppressive gloom of glow, you gather near engineering with the other survivors. It's one of the few buildings still standing. The corpse of the Faceless still sits in the caved-in wreckage of the stratospheric, spilling its flaccid pink tentacles from its horrible zipper-toothed maw. It's already beginning to stink. But at least the governor survived. Governor Udicott takes the stage and thanks you personally for rescuing her during the attack. Because of your bravery, the colony still has its leader. She also acknowledges the bravery of the defense squad, citing their heroism in finally taking down the Faceless. If only it hadn't gotten away from them and stampeded right into the stratospheric. At least they stopped it before it got into engineering, as it would have activated the reactor and left a crater the size of an asteroid impact. Geoponics is gone, the greenhouses destroyed, the fields trampled. After a year of suffering, starving, and only barely scraping by, you're not just back where you started, it's even worse. The entire front half of the stratospheric has been destroyed. The living quarters, the canteen, the garrison, the lounge, even the creche, it's all gone. It's only by some stroke of luck that people hiding in the creche weren't all killed. Governor Udicott solemnly reads the names of those who lost their lives. Too many. You all stand for a moment of silence. You feel the weight of loss like a blow to your chest. Nem and her family cry out when her brother Calm's name is called, and their quiet sobbing continues through the silence. Oof. With the living quarters destroyed, everyone moves into the engineering wing for shelter. You're crowded into the classroom with other families. The adults try to make it seem like a sleepover, but you're all still so shaken. Nem cries about her brother and screams at anyone who tries to comfort her. Eventually, you just ignore her grief, as painful as it is to hear her sobbing at night. It may well be the case that there's nothing anybody can do. You feel like you've been awake for days and you'll never fully sleep again. You try, but you keep jerking awake, crying out in fear. Eventually, you fall asleep sitting up, held in your father's arms. Your sleep is fitful, but mercifully dreamless. Well, I thought we got past the food thing, and I believed that things were going to get better from there. That we were going to... Oof. So, in morning, skill increase is reduced. It'll be offset by heroic on our physical skills, at least. Probably a good time to go exploring. We're going to need to forage a hell of a lot of food. Yeah, commands completely... Fuck. Well, let's start making the rounds and talking to people. Like the other people in geoponics, your dad has been working day and night to salvage what he can after the attack. It's gonna be okay, he promises. We just need to work hard. Cal puts on a brave smile. We have a lot to be thankful for, he says. We're still alive. That has to count for something, right? Yeah, for now. Your mom looks overdrawn with lack of sleep. Be careful out there, she says wearily. Don't want anything to happen to you, too. She is always in bad shape. She is always putting herself in bad shape for everybody else. Dis is examining a bit of rubble, turning it over in his hands. I wonder if we're ever going to find, alien tech, he says. Wouldn't that be cool? Did I not tell people about the thing that I saw? I thought for a second that I made the flag light up here. I thought there was going to be an examine event, but I guess not. That one doesn't light up for examination either. Tangent frowns. I just don't understand, she says. Why now? Why does it keep getting worse? Yeah, I think that's a very fair question. Mars crosses her arms and sulks. What is the point of having all these kudos if I can't actually use them to, buy stuff we need? Hello? It's not like I can mail order more supplies through the wormhole. Yeah, that's true. I am sitting on a massive supply of useless garbage now. Sports ball court's destroyed too. Nem is nowhere to be found. We can't even get outside. Well, not the way everybody else knows about. Am I allowed to... Nope, can't sneak out that way either. I guess all there is to do is... Engineering is crammed with families and what belongings they've salvaged from the destroyed living quarters. You could spend time in your crowded temporary lodging in the classroom, or help the adults try to fix things. So, it is a little silly. It just, the gamification of stress as a mechanic. It is a little bit silly that having gone through all that, I'm at 0 stress because I rested the month before. But yeah, we can rebuild. That'll work. 3 toughness, 3 organizing. Okay, yeah, these are actually good skill increases as well. Not that that's what matters in this situation, but... The first month of quiet passes, each day plodding one after the other. You still have trouble sleeping in the classroom barracks, but there's nowhere else to go. Every day you wake with the others and try to make the best of it. Grief and anger come in waves, not just for you, but for everyone. Some days are better than others. You're assigned to help rebuild the walls. The first part of the month is spent just dragging away the wreckage, sorting it into salvage or recycling. By the time that's done, crews disassembling parts of the stratospheric have delivered enough salvage that you can begin work patching up the walls. A sense of urgency permeates the crew. After everything, people need to feel safe. Dis is on the work crew with you, something he does begrudgingly. Walls didn't help the first time, he grumbles whenever anyone asks for his opinion. We should just tear them all down and live like the animals do. If someone planted a bunch of buildings on my land, I'd be pissed off too. I mean, he's got a good point though, right? Like, the walls are absolutely just like security theater. They haven't helped almost at all, as far as we can tell. The monsters always get inside during the glow attacks, and there are things here that are just, mass-wise. He's right. I think he's right. This is kind of pointless. You don't go so far as to sabotage the walls, but you certainly don't contribute. You and Dis drag your feet, sulking anytime someone tells you to work harder. Surprisingly, you don't get in trouble. You're just kids, after all. No one expects you to get back to work right away after a huge trauma like losing your home. Tangent and Chief Engineer Instance have been hard at work in the lab trying to find a cure for the shimmer disease. You join them in their research. You're the one who found the sample of the shimmer fungus and analyzed it, and you're the one whose father suffers the most from it. You confirm that the shimmer is an airborne fungal disease, and that the thick, choking spores in pollen are the same fungi from the Valley of Vertigo, the ones that colonize the host and turn their bodies into more spore-producing fungus. Finally, you have a long breakthrough. I feel like it's overdue. That's editorializing. Sunlight. Gain 0 points of biology. You try inoculations, antibiotics, antifungal creams, but what finally works is a high-intensity light treatment mimicking the full force of the suns during dust, coupled with an injection to increase its potency. Of course, Tange exclaims. The fungus colonizes animal life during pollen, and some succumb to it, but the intense light of dust scourges the fungus from the survivors. It's all part of the natural cycle. The treatment works on samples, now to test it on a subject. So I feel like the fact that these ones require skills means that they're better to do. That's just like the video game logic in my head. It's like, icon should do the icon thing. We could test it on an animal. Human life is extremely precious at the moment, even more so than it was before. But also, animal testing is not necessarily a good analog for human testing on our world. It's certainly here where all of the animals have xenobiology and stuff. I'm going to test it on myself. We got to find something out. I will know what happens, right? If I'm experiencing the side effects straight up myself, I am like a flawless reporter. So, Dad, I don't necessarily trust that he would not hide negative side effects from me. Not that I don't love him, but, we're testing it on me. You open a triple-locked research room and pass through an airlock. You don't have your envirosuit on, but that's the point. You need to get a strong dose of this fungus in your lungs. The small room is filled with the shimmer fungus. It's growing on everything, the floor and walls, and on lumpy shapes that were some kind of biological matter once. Now it's all just fungus, violet and shiny. You breathe deeply, marveling in the feeling of soupy, dangerous air infiltrating your body. Tange washes safely from behind the thick plexiglass. You can't tell if she's jealous or impressed. Next, you slide into the light therapy machine to bask in the nice warm light for a while. You even have a nap. De-stressing. Dr. Instance takes your vitals and runs samples of your fluids through various machines. She's excruciatingly thorough, but after a few days, she concludes that the treatment is a success. You still carry a high fungal load, but its effects have been nullified by the light therapy. Remarkable, Instance says, going over your findings. Now that we have a frontline therapy, we can begin treating the population to prevent the fungus from taking hold. Ooh, a card that you want to play on the left with a 1. All cards to the right become the same color as this. This is actually a really cool card. I'm very pleased with that. She looks over at Tange. Samhain's discovery will be of great help with our other research. You expect Tangent might be cross that you got the credit, but she nods, looking pleased. You're just thankful no one was killed. Not your father, or anyone else. The colony is safe from the shimmer. I am pleased with that. Like, I feel like we are actually like nailing very difficult problems here. And I mean, I'm sure the game is just like creating that impression. Like, is this good enough? This feels kind of soft. Yeah, it's a little soft. Is there a good way to... Because we could clip one of the 3s and throw the 8 in here. Each 10 stress, but like we would get it, right? If I did it like this. They'd have to eat 15 stress, which is better than doing a push through from the other thing. Oh, sorry. No, we get a free collectible, so we do get to push through. You know what I might do actually is just redraw my hand. Does redraw hand? Does it redraw everything or just the cards that are not in the? Okay, it's everything. I think that was pretty good actually. So if I do a gut feeling now on a red card. Okay, it maintains that card as a 4. Just curious. Because we can do... Can do one of those for a decent straight. No, I can't because that's not... There we go. There's the straight. Yeah, I think I'll just take that. So our toughness just hit a threshold of 40. That's going to be enough for some dialogue event. Oh, will there be a dialogue event with Nem, though? I don't know if that's necessarily going to be available. And then we're closing in on the first organizing perk. Yeah, all right. The sun's finally dawn again on your birthday. You wake early and climb to the top of engineering to watch the first sun's watery rays break the horizon as the wormhole recedes across the sky. Dawn should represent hope after a long period of darkness, but this light only reveals the full extent of the damage to the colony. You've been having trouble sleeping, like most people. It's hard to find rest crammed into the classroom with all the other kids and their families, and every time you close your eyes, you see... You shake your head to clear the memories. You pull your blanket more tightly around your shoulders. Well, not your blanket, that one's gone. And stare out as the sun rises on the horizon, meager and sickly. Hey, kiddo, you hear? And then your mom comes and sits down beside you. I thought I'd find you here. You both sit in silence for a while, watching the sunrise pick out all the broken glass littering the fields, glimmering like a field of stars. After a few minutes, your mom nudges you with her elbow. So, she says, your first apocalypse, huh? She huffs, smiling self-deprecatingly. First one's always the hardest, she sighs. When the first colony was attacked back on Earth, I thought that was it. Everything my parents told me about. The power of community, all that. I thought they were full of shit too. She turns and gives you a serious look. It's okay to be sad right now. And mad, too. I'm mad as hell. I want to get out there and rip every goddamn mushroom out of the ground. And that's keeping me going, for now. But that's not going to be forever, Samhain, she continues. Eventually that sadness and rage is going to cool, and you have to figure out how to feel after that. She points at your chest. Hope lives here, she says. It's the human condition. We just don't know when to give up. Your mom squints out into the sunrise. I had to figure out how to have hope, too. I needed it to get on a busted-up spaceship with your dad and launch myself through a wormhole. Hope is why we had you. She smiles. Things work out in unusual ways, Samhain. It just takes time. You watch the sunrise together for a few more minutes. After a bit, your mom pulls out a little box tied with a piece of gardening twine. From your father and I, she says. Happy birthday, kiddo. The sun medallion, too. You know what it is before you open it. Your old medallion, the one your dad made with the sun on it to represent Earth, was broken during the attack. In all the chaos, you didn't even notice, but your parents did. They made you a new one. It's just like you remembered. A similar design with a wormhole this time to represent Vertumna. You thank her and squint out at the swirling wormhole still barely visible in the brightening sky. It's so massive and awe-inspiring this time of year, but it always seems to herald disaster. You're happy to watch it fade away into the daylight. Your mom lets out a dark chuckle and slaps you on the back. What a birthday. Here's to another one, right? You both head back downstairs to the wreckage of the canteen, where they've put up temporary roofing with whatever tarps and scraps could be found. The colony nanoprinters, the few that still run, have been working day and night to replace the necessities of life, but larger construction projects are going to take some time. Aunt Anne has coaxed the kitchen nanoprinters into making soy gruel and pressed bars. Soy gruel and pressed bars, not bars that are made of pressed. Life-sustaining, but depressing. You and the other colonists eat your breakfast in stony silence as you mentally prepare for the day. Governor Udicott looks more frail than you've ever seen her, but her eyes remain determined. Last week, they held a mass funeral for everyone who died. There's talk of turning the Stratospheric's destroyed front half into a memorial shrine after everything useful has been salvaged. There is still so much to do. Yeah, but building walls doesn't... I am with Dis on the fact that building walls just doesn't seem useful. Tangent paces outside the engineering wing, the only building still standing. With everyone living in here, there's barely enough room to think. This wretched planet, Mars grumbles, gazing at the wreckage of the Stratospheric. That was my ship. You know, she's handling it, pretty powerfully, I think, actually. I'm impressed. What's up, Dis? How you doing? Dis is sitting on a pile of rubble, looking out over the colony wreckage. He doesn't look particularly sad. What do you want? I was really hoping to max out our friendship with him. Everybody being in deep mourning is throwing a monkey wrench into that for sure. I can't believe it's all gone, your mom mutters. All that work, gone in one night. Maybe the new colony could have a hoverboard park, Cal says, putting on a brave smile. That'd be pretty cool, right? I appreciate his positivity. I don't know how he keeps it going. It's gonna be okay, your dad says. You'll see, kiddo. Papa can fix this. Okay, Dad, I love you, but first of all, I've been the one doing all of your fixing stuff for the last year. And secondly, I mean, look around, my dude. Okay, still nothing to do but mourn and rebuild. Well, you're assigned to help out in geoponics. The agriculturists have been hard at work trying to salvage what they can of the ruined fields and the destroyed greenhouses, but there's still a lot of work to be done. Your mom is in fine form in her role as chief cultivator. She'd never admit it, but managing a crisis is what she's made for. Yeah, it seems like it. Cal's working in geoponics too, of course. He smiles when he sees you. Hey, Samhain, there's lots of stuff to do. What do you want to work on? I feel like rebuilding the animal pens. I know that we ended up being a crop scientist, but we got there through a desire to be a rancher. I still want to be a rancher. I want to help rebuild the animal pens. The pens only suffered minor damage during the attack. Weirdly, most of the damage seems to have come from inside the pens, as if the normally tame animals had been stirred into a frenzy. Tangent is also here, though it's not to help hammer and nail things. She's studying the animals, trying to figure out what could have influenced them. She takes blood and hair samples and readings with some sort of complicated brain scanning device. Interesting, is all she says, not explaining her findings to you or Cal. Everyone's worried this will be the final nail in the coffin for your food supply after the famine last year. You try not to think about it too hard, instead focusing on just doing what you can to help rebuild. Oh, really? You have to lock in the plus stress card? That sucks. All right, it's fine. Well, oh right, this was getting +1 because it was red. So this becomes a 2. These are all gonna... That's a 26. I mean, like, the shimmer cure is worth 11 points effectively. All right, let's try to make something else happen here. This is really awkward. Like, there's no good way to build much of a straight here. I have 13 mushwood logs. We can just force it. A log there gets us 2 points worth of two of a kind, and we can just accept it. I think I'm just gonna do that. It's fine. Managed a ton of toughness with the eagle eyes and everything. You're eating in the mess tents when you hear something rumbling. I don't know if we can take another thing right now. Your bowl and cutlery start rattling. People look around in alarm. Could it be another attack so soon? You begin to hear shouting from outside. Someone runs into the tent. There's something falling from the sky, they shout. It's on fire. Okay, that's not great. You join the crowd of people leaving your temporary structures to gather in the colony square. People are squinting up into the milky, quiet sunlight, pointing and gesturing wildly. It's impossible to miss the thing hurtling toward you from space, like a great big ball of fire coming straight for you. Is this it? Is this the end? After all you've been through, a meteor's going to land in the middle of the already ruined colony and kill you all. There's a certain sort of poetic perfection to that, I suppose. That's another spaceship. Mars grabs your shoulder. It's another ship, she exclaims. Look, it's another spaceship from Earth. Excitement ripples through the crowd. Could it be? Doesn't seem like it could be. You stare up, unbelieving, at the rapidly approaching ship. The flames of its entry into the atmosphere dissipate, but a thick column of greasy black smoke trails behind it. Soon you can hear the whistle of it ripping through the atmosphere at terminal velocity. Y'all, that is not a controlled descent. It's an enormous ship, coming at you way too fast. The ship's reverse thrusters fire, trying to slow it down so it doesn't smash into a billion pieces when it hits the planet. Everyone scatters to take cover. You crouch behind some rocks, throw your arms over your head, and squeeze your eyes shut. Yeah, I guess that's kind of all you can do. You hear the massive spaceship touch down in geoponics, plowing through the fields and grinding over what was left of the greenhouses. Jesus. You're thrown to the ground from the force of the impact as shrapnel and small rocks zing past your head. It grinds along like some roaring monster, cutting a great scar through the colony and kicking up an enormous cloud of dust. Finally, the ship comes to a creaking, shuddering halt. Okay. It didn't kill us all. Could have been a lot worse, I suppose. You and the other colonists carefully crawl out of your hiding places, coughing and rubbing your eyes. The new ship is half buried and obscured by dust, but you can tell it's from Earth. You squint to make out stenciled letters. Heliopause. A hatch opens in its side and silhouettes begin to emerge. Silhouettes with guns. Soldiers march out of the dust and quickly surround all of the remaining colonists. More soldiers form two parallel lines from the ship to the square, their guns in parade rest, and a lone figure strides down the center towards you. Greetings, fugitives of Earth, the man says, spreading his hands wide. Oh no, this guy's got anime villain vibes. A dismayed murmur ripples through the crowd. The adults exchange significant looks. Chief Engineer Instance tries to slip out of the crowd, but she's stopped by the line of soldiers. Well, I'm much sneakier than she is. The man smiles. He has a broad, easygoing smile that doesn't match the threatening aura of the soldiers, nor the smoking ruin of the ship behind him. I am Commander Lum, he says proudly. As captain of the Heliopause, I have come to render aid and bring you to justice. I'm going to try to sneak away. I'm pretty sneaky. The Heliopause soldiers have the colonists surrounded and shove you gently but forcefully back into the crowd. All right, I'm going to listen from here. This is what we do. We watch and listen, right? Udicott steps forward out of the crowd. You're not the commander of the Heliopause, she says firmly. Where's the person I was speaking to? Commander Morikawa. Everyone is surprised. Udicott has been in communication with this ship. For how long? I am the captain of the Heliopause, Lum repeats stubbornly, then adds, according to the chain of command. We sustained significant loss of personnel when we went through the wormhole. You can't help but notice many of the soldiers exchange looks this time. You wonder how many people had to die before Lum became commander. As the commanding officer, Lum continues, I declare this colony to be under our protection. As such, you are all now subject to the laws of Earth. To be quite blunt, young man, it appears you need us as much as we need you, Udicott replies primly. The Vertumnan colony, such as it is, offers our hospitality to our guests from Earth. Lum opens his mouth, but Udicott cuts him off. Now, there's no need for this posturing. Whatever the purpose of your mission here, you'll soon learn that on this side of the wormhole, we are all human. Right now, we need each other more than we need mandates from Earth. Udicott turns to the assembled colonists. Effective immediately, I will be stepping down as governor and turning leadership of the council to Lum of the Heliopause, she says. She smiles genially at him. I hope that will satisfy your craving for justice, at least while we get our feet under us. Judging from the number of guns on display, you don't think you have a choice in this. Okay, so us saving Udicott probably had very, very little, narrative meaning. Well, it's a good thing the colony is in such pathetic shape right now, your mom mutters under her breath. If they thought we were a threat, they'd probably have just shot us. Your dad squeezes your shoulders and tells her to be quiet. No one knows how to react. A new governor from Earth. Nearly 100 new colonists, most of them trained soldiers. What does this mean for the colony? Yeah, the vibe around here is going to be real different, huh? The crowd disperses slowly, and the council members follow Lum back into the Heliopause, presumably to talk about the future of the colony. You hope. You track down your friends. So, what do we think about these new people? Mars asks. I'm not feeling this one. I don't want to share this planet. It feels like a weird thing to say. Like, we are natives of this place to exactly the same degree they are. It feels very weird to be possessive of it and be like, oh, they don't get to just horn in on our action. But I am going to say this. They're just going to boss us around. Tangent nods. They don't live here. They don't know what it's like. And they're just going to swoop in and act like they're better than us? She hugs her arms around herself. Did you see what they were doing to Instance? The entire colony, now twice as many of you, sets to work on salvaging the wreckage of the Heliopause, tearing it down and combining it with the Stratospheric's remaining engine section. Spirits are high, though these new colonists from the Heliopause are not like any people you've ever met before. With their uniforms and weapons, they're more like an invading force than a rescue. You aren't sure what this means for the colony, or for your future. What an interesting bit of text to put on the button. As the dust settles, you rebuild your colony around the new ship, the heliopause. The new arrivals, soldiers mainly, are aloof at first. Many see you as fugitives. Together, you build new walls, living quarters, greenhouses, and a massive bunkered garrison. The Stratos engineering wing is the only reminder of your old colony. The heliopause bought enough rations for another 5 years, as well as a rich seed bank and working hydroponics. They also have more guns and explosives than you've ever seen in your life. Even the ship has guns. A full stomach, a roof over your heads, and the promise of safety convinces most Stratocolonists to accept the Helios. Also, there's literally no other choice, so... In turn, the Helios decide that you criminals pose little threat. A grudging peace is brokered between the two groups. You decide they aren't so different, really. There are even Helio children, born among the stars just like you. Okay, maybe we will make some new friends. After a month of hard work, you and your parents move into your new quarters. You get your own room for the first time in your life. You step out onto your very own balcony to watch the new colony, its grounds bustling with so many strangers and strange new ideas. You feel something rising in your chest that you haven't felt in some time. Hope, excitement. What will the new day bring? You better get out there and find out. We are really more of a rush outside kind of girl. All right, so let's get the lay of the new lay of the land here. Okay, there's an area back there that is not traversable because it would be behind an object. Cal is kicking a small beanbag into the air, trying not to let it touch the ground. He's not very successful. That new kid, the dog boy, Rex, showed me how to play this, he says, groaning as the beanbag hits the ground again. It's a lot harder than it looks. Hey, buddy, what are you working on? Ooh, radioactive plants. Cal is looking a little sickly. Well, I found this really pretty flower growing in the garden. I've never seen it before. You take a look at it and soon begin to feel sick yourself. Wait, is this plant radioactive? What? It's radioactive, Cal says, backing up quickly. Good thing you knew that. What do we do? You're not sure, but if you study it in the geoponics lab, you might be able to figure out how to neutralize the radiation. Okay, yeah, that's worth a shot. How high is my biology skill exactly? Okay, it was just over 80. New kid. You've seen Nomi around since the heliopause landed. They're around your age and barely 1.5 meters tall, only coming up to your shoulder. You've never seen anyone dress as strangely as they do. I love the colors, though. Hi. Their voice is high-pitched and quick. I'm Nomi. It's short for nomination. It's very anime. That's very anime, though. They do a little twirl and bow. You introduce yourself and ask about... Don't ask... People will volunteer about their gender if it's relevant, is my feeling. I'm going to ask what they do. We seem to know their pronouns. They seem to be a they, them. So I'm just going to ask what they do for fun. Well, Nomi begins. Kind of a bit of everything. I like designing outfits and reading manga and learning about dinosaurs and cool xenofauna and robots and aliens and watching anime and playing Laser Fable, of course. Mostly lately, I play Laser Fable. It's so fun to play it outside in the great big endless outdoors. Nomi dances in a circle, waving their arms and gesturing at your surroundings. Okay, I'm trying to be friendly to the kids. I don't like the new adults. I do like the new kids. That's how we're playing this. I'm going to challenge them to a game of Laser Fable. I don't know what that is, but it's probably fun. You're on. Nomi helps you install it on your holopalm and explains the rules. It's an augmented reality game where you bounce hologram lasers off real objects nearby. It's speed-based, so you're running around and bumping into each other, and there are extended house rules about when it's legal to block each other's lasers. Okay. It's a combat challenge, which is not like the thing we're best at, but Red is, pretty good at Red. This is a weird hand. First collectible use is free. I mean, do we just play 338 here? It feels a little bad to burn 2 gems so early, but like almost all the cards in my hand are gems. Just do this to score. Yeah, I mean, that's something. Okay, and this is why we were doing that, so that we could try to build an actual set. Do I want to do the 4, 5, 6, 7? That's pretty strong. And then look at all these 4s. What is the most sensible way to do this? This is not going to end up being a 5. We're not going to be able to like build a straight out of it, because like the whole point is that I wish we could boost this by 1. I mean, I could boost this by 1. First collectible use is free. It would lose its color. But we could just, we could we don't actually have the ability to turn it red, which means that if I change its color, it's going to, if I +1 it and change its color, it's not actually going to gain a point, which is really awkward. Whatever, I'm just gonna, you know what? We'll just take it as it is. It's fine. Okay, a whole point of combat. Right on, sister. Nomi gives you a high five, then with a couple quick flicks on their gauntlet, gives you a kudos for winning. They explain this is how they always play Laser Fable with the kids from Heliosphere. Except they mostly don't want to play anymore. They say they're too old for it. They just want to be soldiers now. Except Rex, he's still cool. Okay, so yeah, like a very militarized culture. Not a huge surprise. Oh, looks like maybe Mars is getting along with somebody here. The colony's full of new people. Everywhere you look, you see a stranger. It's disorienting after growing up in a closed spaceship. Yeah, like encountering new people for literally the first time in your life when you're 15, it's got to be a pretty weird experience. You never expected to meet any other humans that weren't made here on Vertumna. You bump straight into one of these new people while you're jogging through the colony. Oof. He laughs and holds you steady, brushing the imaginary dust off you and giving a wide-fanged smile. You know, when Cal said the dog boy, I thought he meant like the boy who has a dog, or... Hey, it's one of the kids from the Heliopause. You think his name is Rex, because they gave him a dog name. Like, listen, the game was not anime before, but the balance has shifted, right? I'm not the only person perceiving this. Hey, I'm Samhain. Welcome to Vertumna. You stick out your hand and shake his, and he laughs. You notice he's wiggling his dog ears. They can really move independently. Pleased to meet you, he says. I'm Rex, and I love to shake a paw. I know a ton of tricks. He winks, which I think is flirting? It's very hard to tell. We have the option to flirt back. Rex puts his hand against his cheek, looking cute and lost. Hey, since I'm new here, do you think you could help me find the construction yard? I thought I might apply for a job there. He's doing the animate the hand. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, no, I'll take you there. You walk him over to command. Everything's moved around since the heliopause landed, but the construction yard is still in command where it always was. At the entrance, you meet Mars, filing her nails and looking like she's waiting for somebody, which is weird because she was standing right next to us when we left, so she must have run really fast to get here before us. Why, hello, cutie, she says to Rex. Where did you come from? He looks her up and down and grins. Well, I'm just an angel who fell from the sky, darling. You try not to gag as the two of them flirt. You give a loud ahem and point Rex toward the construction yard. He looks back at Mars over his shoulder and winks as he leaves. Okay, I'm just going to let the two of them get up to whatever they're doing. First of all, I think, like, you know, in a closed environment such as this, jealousy could be a real problem. Secondly, I really don't want to step in Mars's way because I think she's probably really mean about this stuff. And also, thirdly, finally, I don't... No thank you. No thank you on Rex. Mars claps in delight as you approach. Samhain, she calls out. Today I had a conversation with someone I haven't known literally since the day I was born. It was incredible. She clasps her hands to her chest. They didn't know about the time I played Ingenuity in the crash play and forgot all my lines, or the time Cal's pants fell down, or the food fight we had in the Strato mess hall. They didn't know anything. We just talked, she exclaims, and we didn't run out of things to say. Yeah, that's cool. Congratulations on that. Oh, we gotta give the new kids gifts. We're gonna run around and hand out gifts in a minute here. Let's continue getting the lay of the land first. Hello, my little tomato. Your dad's voice rings out across the fields, hale and hearty. You don't have it in yourself to be embarrassed. Not during pollen. Not with the memory of him struggling to breathe so fresh in your mind. Are you coming to check on your old man? He teases you. He takes a deep breath, holds it, and lets it all out comfortably. I'm doing great. No congestion, no sneezing, and I definitely don't want to take a hike outside the walls. Your dad pulls you into a big hug, ruffling your hair. He smells like sunshine and dirt and sweat, and you've never been happier to breathe it all in. He's alive. I'm proud of you, he says quietly. You can pull off miracles, kiddo. Yeah, we did something really good here. I'm really pleased with that. You try to broach the subject of Governor Lum and the Helios and how they seem to know your mom. Did they? Why didn't she fight back when they just took over? I wonder if there was a scene that I didn't see because of, storyline branching stuff or whatever. Leave it, she barks in her we aren't discussing this voice. That's council business. You're too young to understand. Okay, all right, okay. Well, if we can ever find Nem again, here's an egg we can give her. Hey, Dis, how you doing? Everything dies, Dis says, plucking at some dead grass and blowing it away into the wind. Plants, people, civilization. Even this planet's gonna die on a long enough timeline. He dusts his hands off and rests his chin on his knees. Why even bother fighting it? Why try to do anything at all? Okay, buddy, hey, look, I found this for you. Dis's eyes light up when he sees your gift. Whoa, he says, taking them from you with an uncharacteristic delight. Are these pieces of a jelly arc root network? Or is it a dormant butterfly bush? Where did you find these? That is different text than we've been getting from him before. I wanted to give that to him immediately. It seems like he needs it really badly. Okay, nobody else is outside the walls. I'm getting a little concerned. Okay, there's Nem. I was going to say, I feel like it's been a really long time since we've seen her. Nem fiddles with her personal defense plas cutter. Never thought I'd actually be using one of these, she says quietly. Guess we all got to be ready to defend ourselves now. Actually, that's probably less true than it's ever been. You want to train together? Nem suggests you practice some hand-to-hand combat, then kicks your butt in the absolute most literal sense. Okay, fair enough. She leans over you while you're lying on the floor, completely gassed. You okay? She laughs. I didn't go too hard, right? Yeah, I still am kind of like... I think Nem is really neat. You spot Nem halfway up a garrison watchtower, her legs wrapped around the scaffolding, as she cranes to look over the fence through a pair of holoculars. You clear your throat, and she peers down at you and waves. Samhain, come on up here. I want to ask you something. You clamber easily up the scaffolding. Nem gives you a high five. Here, look through these, Nem says, shoving the holoculars into your hands. You raise them to your eyes and look where she's pointing. A long ways out, much farther than the expeditions are going, you spot a dark humanoid shape moving through the towering fungal forest. See him? Nem asks. It's Dis, I swear it is. He's always sneaking out over the walls. I have his back. So? Nem stares at you. So what? She repeats aghast. He's gonna get in trouble. Well, only if you tell on him. Well, yeah, Nem sputters. But someone should. The adults say we're not supposed to go outside the colony unless it's on expedition, Nem says, taking the holoculars back and looping them around her neck. And Dis just goes whatever he wants. What if he gets hurt? What if he dies? She wrinkles her nose. What if he picks up a weird alien disease and comes back with 3 heads? Nem scratches her cheek, where acne's made her skin dry and sore-looking. Ow, she mutters as bits flake off. I just don't know what to do about it, she says. What do you think? We definitely don't want to do 2. I don't want to do 3 either. The thing is, Dis kind of likes his solitude. I think she'll be annoyed if we go for 1 here. This will read as us being shitty to her. But I don't know. Maybe if we go out after him together, we can like have a nice moment out there. We can explore and see some stuff. You know, I would like us all to be. It would be cool if Dis had multiple friends. Can you imagine? We should go after him. Nem stares at you like you've turned green. What? She exclaims. Outside the colony by ourselves? No way. Nuh-uh. It would be fun. Nem shakes her head. Nope, not even a little bit. No one would even notice we were gone. Nope. Nopity nope nope. Nem sings songs. Oh, come on, live a little. Nem punches you lightly in the arm. International House of Nope, dude, she says. We're gonna die a little if we go out there. The colony's got rules for a reason, Nem says, staring off into the wilderness. If we do our own thing and don't care about the rules, we're all gonna be toast. Kind of like a sports ball team. We're all doing different stuff, but we all gotta play by the same rules so we can get as many points as we can. Anemone, Samhain. You look down at the ground where a passing colonist is waving up at you. You 2 get down from there. It's not safe. Okay, sorry, I'm on watch, Nem shouts back, indicating her holoculars. She shoots you a smile. I guess we should get inside the watchtower, huh? You both climb the rest of the way to the guard platform. Nem heaves herself over the edge and reaches down to help you up, and you notice that her hands are all banged up and scabbing over with blue scales, probably from scampering all over the place the way she does. She notices you looking and laughs awkwardly. She runs her hands through her fluffy hair. Maybe if I get beat up enough, I'll have so many scales I won't have no more acne, she jokes. So all cards under 3 become 3 is not, I think, super useful at this point. All red cards, whatever. Because we're getting pretty good at getting all the cards that have a value lower than that out of our deck anyway. But like another red 5 is extremely welcome. I will say all cards under 3 become 3 is going to make it really hard to build straights. Whatever, it's fine. Who are you? This new boy from the heliosphere is a couple years older than you. He's very handsome, and the missing arm gives him a heroic battle-scarred vibe. I don't know about very handsome. He stands tall and ready for action, even though it's a normal, boring day. The other recruits milling around the garrison give him a wide, respectful berth. You see him staring, and he gives you a curt nod. My name is Vase, Lieutenant Olivacious, he says, considering you with a glint of challenge in his eye. And you are? How do you introduce yourself? I'm an explorer. I think this is the truest thing. His expression doesn't change. Is that right? He says, with the air of a boy who's hard to impress. Oh, nice to meet you, Samhain. I hear it's been a rough couple of years for the colony. Lucky thing our heliopause came along just in time, he continues. Don't worry, we have some of the best soldiers. The very best. We'll keep the colony safe. This is not really true. And are you one of those best soldiers? We train as a team, but, Vase says, then clears his throat. Yes, I've won more than my share of zero-G judo matches and virtual rivalry tournaments. Even competing against adults, he adds. Cool. I don't really think, I think our character is competitive in a friendly way. Like, we're competitive against people we like. I don't like this guy. Right away, the vibe is bad. The vibe is rancid. So I don't really want to get into like a shoving match with him. I don't want to flirt with him. So I guess this is like kind of neutral. Well, being planted side is totally different. You tell Vase that firing a virtual gun is nothing compared to running for your life through the jungle while a wild unisaur hunts you down. I have never had such an experience. I am great with unisaurs. A unisaur, Vase says, leaning forward a little. His eyebrows raise. Did you actually say something to interest him? That sounds like a fun sport. I'd like to try it sometime. No, I am thumbs down on Vase. This is bad. Tange, how you doing? Vertumnalia? Oh, no, Tange says, shaking her head. I am far too busy for something as childish as a science fair. Is not what I do every day in the lab enough proof of my intellect? Okay. Here, I brought you something. She likes medicinal roots too, right? What was the other thing she liked? Okay, she also likes yellow flowers. I'm going to give her a yellow flower then, so we can still have a medicinal root for Dis next month. I hope you find it useful. I'm not going to hit you with that more beautiful than any flower line again. I apologize for the time I did that. It was very awkward. All right, Cal. You pass a group of soldiers from the heliopods leaving the garden. One of them eyes you with disdain, but the rest ignore you. Inside, Cal is scowling as he rakes up a planting bed. His expression softens when he sees you, but not by much. Hey, Samhain, he says. Did you see those jerks? They're always sniffing around here trying to start a fight with me. I think their leader's that mouthy kid, Vase. He leans his arm on his rake. Whatever, joke's on them. I ain't gonna play their little soldier games. I have a thing for you. Have we ever figured out what you like? No. Do you like a bobber fruit? Food! Cal grabs the fruit out of your hand, then remembers his manners. He gives you a big hug. Thanks, Samhain. I'm starving. How did you know? Okay, cool. Rad. It's good to know. Let's go give presents to everybody. Everybody that I actually like. Nomi, you seem fine. Hey, so I heard you guys have a feast next month, Nomi says, tilting their head to the side. And there's competitions? What kind of competitions? Because, like, everyone on the Helio learns how to do soldiery stuff, but other than that, I'm not really good at anything. Well, except for video games. Nomi smiles proudly. Okay, but I'm really good at video games, they say. Oh, and drawing? I guess I put all my skill points into dexterity. Wait, do you get that joke? Do you guys have role-playing games here? Do you think we can have an art contest at your festival? Hey, I have something for you. Would you like a log? How do you feel about mushwood logs? Nomi looks a little surprised. You bought me a gift? They exclaim. Like, just because? OMG, Samhain, thank you. Okay, my guess is probably nobody likes mushwood logs because they seem to be by far the most common object. You know what? Rex might. Rex absolutely might. Because it's like a stick. Because it's like giving him a stick to play with. Rex hasn't gotten used to life on the surface yet. And you remember your first year. Vertumna seemed so enormous. So full of dangers and mysteries. Well, it still does. But the shock eventually wore off. Rex still has that slightly bewildered look on his face every time he walks outside and the sunlight hits it. It's so bright and warm. Hey, buddy, I brought you a log. Yep, it does in fact work that way. Oh, also it's his birthday. Wow, I'm crushing it. Accidentally. Ooh, Rex howls with happiness as he takes the mushwood from you. You remembered my birthday and brought me the perfect stick for my collection. Yep, that's me. All of those things are what I'm doing right now. Mars surveys the construction work on the new walls with a critical eye. This is great and all, she says, but did you notice we have, like, a total power vacuum at the top here? Like, who's in charge? The council are just a bunch of scared adults like everyone else. If the Helio people wanted, they could control this colony. Mars clenches her fist. The colony should be under colony governance, not some outsider. She has a very political outlook. I'm a little surprised by it, honestly. Here, a flower for you. I remember that you like these. I should have just given everybody gifts when I was doing the first rounds, but I forgot. And I knew we were going to have to do more rounds anyway. Hey, Dis. I gave you a thing already. He is worried about the things out there not being happy with us, and I think I get where he's coming from on that. Nem, I got you this Xeno egg. I found it on the ground. Nem gives you a little smile. Thanks, Samhain. This was Calm's favorite food, too. Yeah, okay. Vase, you do not receive objects from me. So are the things to do mostly the same? The Helios have replaced the old garrison dojo with a huge underground bunker. It's much larger and better supplied, and abuzz with activity. Soldiers drilling, weapons being cleaned and inventoried, and animals herded into cages for study. You can't believe how many soldiers are down here. It must be the safest place on the planet. So it's interesting that despite there being animals herded into cages for study, we have no option to interact with all those animals, because I feel like that would be a thing that I should be doing. But I mean, you know what we're probably going to do for the month. Because it is a fresh new month. We do have a thing to study in geoponics as well. Yeah, I guess I'm done talking to people, right? We need to figure out what we're doing for the month. Okay, engineering is totally the same. It's like the one thing that hasn't changed. The living quarters. The new common area is a hastily constructed platform clinging to the side of the heliopause. Crews are hard at work incorporating the rigid hull into the natural landscape, creating a charming open-air place for gathering, eating, and relaxing. Just outside, you can hear construction happening on new living quarters for everyone from both ships. That's rad. That's pretty rad. And up here then is the new command. I'd like to visit the supply depot. Okay, nothing new here. Lots of cakes, which I imagine is something we're going to be buying a bunch of. And is the new geoponics, man, they really made the area a lot bigger. So we can work on the farm. Doing so does not, in fact, get us any points of animals. I mean, it's fine, whatever. Geoponics is abuzz with activities. Repairs to the domes are underway, the fields are being replanted, and hydroponics from the heliopause are being installed. Okay, let's go out and wander. Let's find something to do. I want to explore. With the front gate, is it the bottom left? Was that right? Yeah. Okay, let's... Well, Utopia's still in charge, it seems like. That's good. Do we want to... Forage in the Valley gets us biology automatically. We're actually getting pretty close to the biology cap. I would like to... Yeah, let's start there. And obviously, prioritize any event that has an animal attached to it. Chief Surveyor Utopia stops you and Dis near the depot. Feel that? She asks. You can feel a kind of ominous, distant thumping, pulsing regularly through the ground. If you stand still, you can feel it vibrate up into your own body, too, like a massive global pulse. Utopia says, checking a readout on her holopalm. I reckon it's naturally occurring, she concludes, but it's given me the willies all the same. You two better check it out. Mind you stick together and take readings on the way, in case it's dangerous. You and Dis look at each other, excited. You follow the thumping, now an audible noise growing louder, west until you've roughly triangulated its location. You know you're getting close, but it sounds like it's coming from all around you, and your instruments aren't precise enough to help. Fortunately, my senses absolutely are. 79 and 3? Yeah, we can hit this. So... I think it's very appropriate that this is like the me and Dis working together hand. So a +2 bonus to pairs. It looks like we are getting that +2 bonus. Yeah, 3 of a kind is considered a type of pear, which I get. Like, I guess I get what they're doing there, but it is kind of silly. Yeah, 25 is a fine start, though. So, +1 for each gem on other cards. This is going to be a 6 if I put it down, actually. Well, we can take the pair bonus here, and then we could just throw the 10. I lose my pair bonus, but I pick up a straight. If I do it this way. If I just run the other 5, though. Oh, no, right. That's gonna... Man. I think I'm gonna take this. Leaves us with 28 on the final run, which should be, like, extremely doable. Radioactive plant's pretty solid. So this is a 6. If we just throw a +1 something on here. +1, 2, and from other yellow cards. Dad's Love is not a very good draw in this moment, but it would, you know. There are situations where it would be good. I guess what we do is probably like that, right? Get a couple of pairs going. And there's no reason for us to even fix this and make it more impressive because whatever, good enough. All those perception points. You find a machine. An ancient broken down machine, like a small pyramid-shaped building made from some kind of dark stone or bone that looks almost like it grew that way. Except it isn't broken, it's just so very old and overgrown it looks more like a pile of rubble and roots than a building, or an engine, or whatever it was. Still, a thumping noise comes from inside it. The vibrations are strong here, making your guts feel weird. You don't notice it at first, but there's a curious path on the ground moving away from the machine. A line half a meter wide where the dirt is a little more worn and bare. It heads off in a straight line to the west, or coming from the west. Could animals have made this path? Or the thumper itself? What is this? Oh, this is engineering. Okay. Yeah, we are not good at that. So I will simply marvel at it. You run your hand over its pitted, vibrating surface. How could something so unbelievably old still work? It's definitely not natural. You can even see something like writing carved deep into the not-quite rock. Dis starts making unce, unce, unce noises under his breath to the beat of the thumper. It's a pretty sick beat. Eventually, you head back and share your findings with Utopia. Totally an alien civilization, Dis insists. I mean, he's obviously correct, right? Utopia scratches her head. I suppose, maybe, she says. You said it looks ancient, right? Perhaps there could have been another civ here long ago. We have found other signs, but nothing active like this. Did I seriously not tell anybody about what I saw in that hole? That's so wild. Well, it seems to be pointing west or receiving something. She snaps her fingers. There's some right ugly ridge lines out there that have kept us from checking that direction, but we got gliders and motivation. That's half the battle. She makes a note in her holopalm. I'll open up the western resting ridges for surveyors, she says, then grins. Ooh, say that 3 times fast. My Utopia is rapidly merging into Ted Lasso. I mean, listen, Dis is right. It's definitely aliens. What else could it possibly be? Dis nods solemnly. Okay, that's pretty wild. Well, let's make sure we loot this place as thoroughly as possible, and then we'll start taking challenges. Prioritizing anything that has a critter on it, and, you know, making sure we end with a yellow. Ripe blue bobber fruit. I'm not expecting us to find any more medicinal roots or anything. Oh, hey, it's that plant. It's back. Oh. Totally missing bobber fruits. I wonder what the game is like if you don't learn to sneak out early. It's like you're definitely still doing expeditions once they become available the normal way, right? Because the pickups are so good. Even outside of the relationship effects with people, like just having a bunch of pickups makes any hard challenge so much more approachable. Okay, I think we are probably all set on loot. So there's a Vriki over here, right? Okay. Whole swarm of Vriki, mostly just baby ones about the size of your head. They're all amassed around a massive tree, scurrying up and down the trunk. Yep, this is the tree that is a Vriki. We do not fight them. Maybe they aren't so bad. You walk up to the tree and put your hand on it. It turns out it's part of the life cycle of the Vriki, and that maxes out my animals. What does this perk do? Okay, upgrade pet cards more. Level 3 pets perk. Okay. Our pet cards didn't actually upgrade when we rested in the park before, though, right? Yeah, it said that our bond increased, but we have to make sure that we do that. Do I want to equip my sun medallion? Getting one less stress from everything from the Hopeye is actually really nice. Where am I at on organizing? I'm 5 points below. I'm sure organizing is going to give us a perk. Or going to give us one of these slots. Because I think the game explicitly told us that, right? So we'll equip it once we've got that. Because I do think both of the animals are really valuable. Let's go do the one with that weird fruit now. It's the Trippet. I'm going to try to harvest some stalks, because I know what happened last time we noted its location and moved on. You start breaking off the freshest and youngest shoots. The plant shudders. I got to analyze that shudder. We got to meet that dad. Okay, so this is a 6 and that's a 7. This is a little awkward. We don't have a proper 5 then. Yeah, we're like so close to being able to build a straight here. Do I just accept this? I mean, there's a +2 bonus to pairs here, which is actually makes this as good as doing the longer straight. Yeah, I'll just, this is fine. It's actually worth more to match to the pair. And we just get a bunch of blues as well. All right, 30 in the last hand feels pretty doable. I mean, again, just like 6s and 4s, right? I feel like with the way our deck is constructed, you're going to see 6s and 4s a lot. I guess it's probably slightly better to do it this way. Okay, lots of wasted skill points. Yeah, this plant is alive and sentient like an animal. It's definitely not happy you're ripping its limbs off. It's hard to tell if it's in pain, really, but you'd say discomfort at least, so I'm definitely going to stop. Yeah, no, something about what you're doing just feels wrong. You make a note on your map of where it is, but oddly, you never find it again. Yeah, fair enough. So I'm not sure it makes any sense to interact with any of these events anymore, because we are not going to benefit from perception or animals. I guess some of them could yield biology, but like, let's do the yellows. You've been saved a few times from certain doom, or at least discomfort, and it can't have been a coincidence. Something or someone has taken an interest in you. You're being followed. You're beginning to get a feel for this place and its dangers, so the next time you hear the hiss-click of a nest of hungry snap bladders, you walk straight toward it, keeping an eye out for anyone watching you from the trees. There! Just as you think you're going to have to climb into the damn nest to get your savior to show up, you see a shadowy humanoid figure darting behind a tree. You make eye contact, and you both freeze. His almond-shaped eyes widen in his not-quite-human face, and he slips away into the jungle. Motherfucker, you're going to have to do a real good job of slipping away to evade me. Track him carefully. Rather than rush after him, you use your tracking skills to carefully follow his path and sneak up on him. You pounce like a manticore, and the two of you tumble to the ground. You pin his arms. To be fair, though, if he is even the slightest bit good at fighting, he's going to be able to get out from under me very easily. Yo. Are you flirting with me? You get a good look at his face for the first time. The long, delicate features, the odd tone of his skin, almost purple, and his glittering alien eyes. Before he can answer your questions, you jump off him and back away. Who or what is he? Right, it's in the eyes, right? I'm not the only person who thinks this is a little flirty, a little bit dakimakura. Gosh. I'm a little flustered. He brushes the dirt from his clothes and stands up tall. Very tall. You have to take another step back to get a good look at him. You catch a glimpse of a pale purple wrist under his tattered black sleeves. Delicate, like bird bones. I am a gardener, he purrs, and you're trespassing on my planet. Now that you can see all of him, you confirm he's definitely not human. Besides the purple tint to his skin, he's also just constructed differently. Human, but not. And taken as a whole, these little discrepancies add up to something that is decidedly alien. You're an alien? He laughs, a light and infectious chuckle that sounds more animal than human. It goes on for a bit too long. You think he might be poking fun at you. Actually, you're the alien here, if you think about it. You do think about it. He's right. He jumps up onto a large rock and crouches, eyeing you thoughtfully. Let's make a deal, he says. He speaks with an odd inflection, putting the wrong stress on things, but the words themselves come easily enough to him, which is a thing I have a lot of questions about. I'm not supposed to talk to you, he says. It's against the rules. I'm not going to try to do the wrong stresses on words thing, because that sounds like hard. But since you've caught me, I can grant you one wish. He smiles mischievously. Is this a joke? Well, I mean, of these three options, no doubt I'd wish to know more about you. Whatever we wish for, it would be information, right? It would be knowledge. And this is the only one of these that is that. He gives you a sly look. In time, Sawan. I hope. He pauses, and his eyes unfocus for a moment. He stares straight ahead, unblinking. Then he slowly stretches like a cat and stands up. Well, this has been fun, but I'm afraid duty calls. He doffs an invisible hat towards you. My name is Symbiosis, by the way. Or Sim, if you like. He jumps behind the rock and disappears. Literally, he disappeared. You search all around and can find no trace of where he might have gone, or how. Stars, you just met an alien. He didn't really go very far. Hey, buddy, how you doing? You're following an animal path through the underbrush when a change in the ambient noise makes you stop in your tracks and listen. You get the feeling you're not alone. By now, you're getting used to the feeling of being watched. I know you're there, Sim. You're answered with silence, and you have the fleeting thought that if you're right, you probably sound pretty cool. And if you're not, and you're just talking to yourself in the jungle like an idiot, at least no one's around to see it. Okay. So Sim started at 20 friendship with us. That's cool. A tall form steps out casually from behind a rock. Why, hello again, says Sim, smiling. He bows to you like a courtier, a gesture that looks perfectly elegant on him, but nonetheless carries a deep sense of still being alien. You take the chance to get a good look at him. He's like a human, but not. Not just genetically enhanced, he's a whole different species. An alien. A gardener. Whatever that means. It's a lot to take in. You look... He puts a finger to his chin in an exaggerated expression of contemplation. Like a wide-eyed sugar bug. His hair slithers around the sides of his head, like it's trying to get a better look at you. You find your voice and croak, so we can't do this because I haven't tried telling anyone about him. Why do you keep following me? Because, my sugar bug, you're about to stumble into a nest of young snap bladders. I thought you might need rescuing again. Sure enough, you realize you can hear their mewling up ahead. Even the nestlings can be deadly in numbers. And with that warning, I believe my job here is done. Sim purrs and turns to leave. No, wait! I want to talk. I want to learn stuff. You call out to him, but he disappears into the forest without a trace. Or, alternately, he doesn't, and he remains right here for me to talk to again. You spot Sim watching you silently from the trees. He only disappeared like a couple feet over. When he sees that you've noticed him, he steps into the path and walks toward you, completely silent. When you open your mouth to greet him, he simply places his finger against your lips. Shh, he murmurs. I am observing you. You really are a fascinating creature. Are all humans like you? I brought you a gift. I'm a little smitten. I want to bring him a cake. I'm going to give him, he's going to be familiar with all of this stuff. This is all stuff that comes from his forest. I brought you this bobber fruit. Sim examines your gift in great detail and asks various questions about where and when you found it. He hums to himself as he turns it over in his hands, a broad smile on his face. Remarkable, Samhain, just remarkable, he says as he hands it back to you. You truly are the most thoughtful of gift givers. I have enjoyed your present to the fullest. You try to explain that he can keep it, but he just smiles again and shakes his head. Okay, he likes it when we do the bobber fruit thing. That said, he didn't gain any friendship or anything. And I'm assuming the gift rules are going to be the same for him. Yeah. Sim falls into step beside you as you walk through the wilderness. Where are we going today? He asks. Are we looking at a plant? A rock? Perhaps we will write numbers on things and stare off into the middle distance, concerned by those numbers. Yeah, okay, the style of his gentle mockery and everything, I have a new romance target. We're just gonna head over to the other yellow exclamation point. I think we might just not do very much here. Go back to town with very little stress, and then use that low stress condition to go out to the new area next month. Oh, hey, there's an extra bobber fruit here. I totally missed. You spot a juvenile squeeger queen, all on her lonesome. She's still mobile, but she's moving very slowly, digging around in the dirt here and there, licking the ground, possibly looking for a place to take root and live out the rest of her life. This might be an opportunity to capture a living hive. Perhaps you could convince it to take root in one of the barns in the colony, giving the colony a source of honey without so much dangerous foraging. That said, we really don't need a source of honey. We have 5 years of rations. It spits acid if you get too close, and they have a nasty, powerful beak. No wonder no one's managed to catch one. But I know a thing or two about animals. So we have to make 95. We have 1 billion items, so... I don't know. This is just going to be play blue cards, right? I don't think it matters terribly. I mean, okay, here's a question. Could I make this into something? Since I'm going to have to spend a bunch of... Maybe I just take the 25. Honestly, the 25 is not terrible. Yeah. If I'm going to spend a bunch of items, we should do them on the last hand, right? I don't love this. We have 3 crystal clusters. I'm considering a redraw. I just kind of can't make anything here. I mean, I guess that's not true. Oh, this is gonna get screwed up. I was gonna play the 1, 2, 3, 4, but with this card getting +3, we have to start considerably higher. So we could play First Steps and throw a mushwood log on it to extend that. And then Xeno Egg the harvesting mushwood. Oh shoot, turning it red caused it to gain 2 points. That's right. Darn it. Well, if I'm not going to hit the 3rd point in the straight anyway, I think maybe we just throw Cal's Strength on here and hold this and hope that we can actually have some gems in the next hand. Just got to make 43 happen. Okay, not a lot of gems. So what? It's like 6s. So we can... I only had the one... Shoot, I only had the 1 egg. Because an egg on this would actually be really good, right? An egg on this would turn it into a red 6. Well, we can turn it into a blue 6 easily enough. And then... if it's going to be a 6, we can bounce these around. Oh, that's the wrong. Sorry. It is going to lower our score a little bit to color this. So we probably want to do it like here. We'll just keep, well, I'm lowering my score by doing that either way. Yeah, I think we mushwood log, and then, well, you know what, if I color this, it's going to lose. So I'd have to do 2 +1s on it because it's going to lose the +1 from being red. I think I'm okay with that. You know, we have the consumables so that we can use them, and also so that we can gift them to people. But there we go. That gets us a win. Mostly blind, the Squeeger Queen is oblivious to your ulterior motive. You spend an entire day subtly leading her in the right direction. She's like an incredibly slow turtle who keeps stopping to lick the ground for some reason. It is super boring. Oh, nice. Your dad meets you at the gates to receive the queen. Your Majesty, he jokes, bowing deeply. I'll make sure she gets settled in, he says to you. Come by and visit her anytime you want. Okay, so now we have a proper tending animals job available, which rules. I think I'm just going to go home. Milking the Squeeger is such a... what a name for a card. Because like I said, I think we're going to preserve our low stress state to go into the ridges. So 3 points of biology, not nothing. And this episode got a little bit away from me in terms of length. So much stuff happened. And +1 to all mental skill increases for 3 months. So maybe it would make sense to be inside for a little while until we max out biology. I don't know what I think that's going to do, but it will probably be rad. If we could do organizing and biology at the same time, which we can, right? We should probably do a little bit of hydroponic stuff. Okay. You know what? What we should do is end the episode. I'm going to call it here for today. Thank you all so much for watching. That was a big one, huh? A lot of stuff happened. The nature of the game is fundamentally significantly different than it was when we started. When y'all come back next time, I would say expect fewer changes. I think that's pretty safe. And we'll see you then.